begin investing free with your paid subscription. Call toll-free 800-331-9600. That's 800-331-9600.
Welcome back to the Erie County Fairgrounds for the 154th Annual Erie County Fair and the 13th Annual Genesee Bull Pull. This afternoon, it's 7,500-pound super stock action as we bring you the best of the best. Tom Morrisy and Rob Russell, Ernie Connors, as well as a number of top local competitors will be trying for their share of the $42,000 purse. Smokers, which they've been known for the past 25 years, have had an added wrinkle in the past couple of years. They're allowed to use diesel fuel or alcohol fuel. And for the past couple of years, Ernie Connors has dominated with his alcohol-powered White 2180. That's all changed this year as the diesel-powered guys, the smokers, are back up on top. Now, a super stock tractor is exactly that. It's a stock appearing tractor, but you take the side shields off, and underneath some very intricate plumbing and 4 turbochargers raise that factory-rated 150 horsepower upwards of 1,800 horsepower. Running on alcohol and or on diesel, the super stock's definitely a crowd pleaser here in Hamburg, New York. Tom Dickerson, New York puller, and one of the tops on the Grand National Circuit for the past couple of years. He finished 10th a couple of years back, second place last year, the 20 Mule team. Out of Olean, New York, 4 turbochargers, runs on diesel, 3688. That's the model number for those of you keeping score at home. Finished 10th a couple of years back, second place last year. Our test puller, that means he's got the option of taking his particular run or dropping back into the class. The reason for that is he's really at a disadvantage because he's not been able to see any other competitor make a trip down the track. So in pulling, we give him the option of taking this particular run or coming back into the class. Starts to build the boost. The RPMs come up. The water gets injected, and now he's running on all 20 mules. Dickerson getting the whip out to get the 20 Mule team in line, and he comes off the tractor quickly to look underneath the side shields. A real rough ride for the man out of Olean, New York. The test puller run becomes very important. Now the competitors will be looking at the groove, see if they can spot the sled right where they need to. Weight adjustments, a little conversation with their crew chief, all very important as they get set to take their run down the track. Pulling to the line right now out of Greencastle, Missouri, the Show Me State, aboard a White 2180 running on alcohol. It's Ernie Connor representing the Connor Brothers pulling team aboard Bad Medicine. Now this particular year, they're down in points. They're number 9 in the point standings. The reason for that, well, Ernie says they've been trying a couple of different things for the past couple of weeks, and it's not put them in victory lane. They're on a bit of a roll. They picked up a win about a couple of weeks ago on the Grand National Circuit. Let's see what the man can do out of Greencastle, Missouri, former Grand National champion, trying some different things, may have it dialed in right now. Watch the front end of this one as he gets the front tires up off the ground. And then what do you do? Well, if you steer with your feet, they use brakes on the left and right tires. And once the front tires come up, it's all over for Ernie Connors. Close to 300 feet in a full pull, the White 2180 of the Connor brothers out of the Show Me State, Missouri. You notice on the replay when the front tires of the White 2180 get up, Ernie Connors is headed for 300 feet. What about the track here at Hamburg?
Oh, it seems to be a pretty good track. I don't think I quite had my motor warmed up enough when I run there. I wanted to sputter just a little bit because we're playing with the fuel system some, a little fat, but it took some power on the end, so it's working. And I didn't know whether I was going to quite make it out or not, but she just laid right in there, and no sled's working good. It just hammers you hard and makes you wonder if you're going to make it or not.
Thomas Bedgar up next out of the great state of Maryland, coming in here to pull in the great state of New York aboard an IH 1066. Now what's going to happen here? First time we've seen him on the Grand National Tour for this year. Now today we're using the old Ironside sled of Dave Hager. Dave Hager built this sled literally from the top of his mind and his shop down in Missouri. But this particular sled lets the competitor get out and run a little bit. Lets him use some speed. And as you heard Ernie Connors say, once you get down towards 300 feet, it really puts the hammer on you. So if you've never hooked to this particular sled, you've really got to drive literally by the seat of your pants. Let's see what Tom Bedgar can do right here. First time hooking at the Grand National. But hey, don't count this young competitor out right here. Anything can happen when you hook to the sled and make your pass down the 300-foot strip. Him very, very quickly to the sideline, and that is it. Launched him right out of there, and again, that's what will happen from time to time. How do you come off that line? A tough break for that young man, and that's going to be it for him this afternoon at Hamburg. One of the professional cameramen with this particular crew on Challenge of Power, stand right there, didn't even move a muscle. Imposter is up next out of Albert City, Iowa. These are the legendary Braybeck brothers. They've been pulling for 21 years, and to their credit, they have 7 Grand National Points Championships, both involved in farming. They call this the Imposter, and Alice Chalmers 8050. 426 cubic inches, and they run 4 turbochargers. Now, again, the maximum number of turbos you can run is 4. Most of the competitors run in 4, but there's a couple of new tricks that people are doing, going back to different size turbochargers and running 2 and 3 combinations. Tough pullers right here. One great driver, and he can make things happen on a good track or an off track. Beautiful here at Hamburg this afternoon. About 84 degrees with sunshine or track a little dry, but it's going to be the same for everyone. Building all kinds of power right here with the Imposter diesel smoker coming at you. We're going to fall way short of that magical 300-foot that Ernie Connors has turned in. He leads the class right now and just never did quite have the RPMs up on the Braybeck brothers Imposter Alice Chalmers. Terry Blackburn out of Shullsburg, Wisconsin up next. This is the slow ride tractor. We go back to alcohol power this time around. Case IH 7140. Now, Terry Blackburn's been pulling for a number of years. Second place last year in the end of season points. Right now, he's in 3rd overall, and he's the highest ranked alcohol powered tractor there is. Track positioning is going to be crucial as the afternoon continues to go on here at Hamburg. And Terry Blackburn, he'll typically get the front end up, and it just looks like a slow, easy ride. But if you really watch the rear tires, you'll see they're turning very, very quick. All kinds of RPMs, all kinds of horsepower, and a whole bunch of fun for this competitor right here. Ernie Connors continues to lead. He's got the other alcohol-powered tractor in our field. He's gone past 300 feet with the full pull, and if Terry Blackburn can do that, we'll have a pull-off. Only time will tell. The slow ride tractor, the other one out the gate right now, 300 feet, as he will pull off against the other alcohol-fired tractor, that of Ernie Connors. Looked like you run the brakes a couple of times, but still were able to maintain it and park it past 300 feet.
Yeah, I hooked up the track good. I wanted to pull the right again, and I braked and got back going down the track, but luckily that didn't happen. Further down the track, you got a harder time turning it, but everything came out all right.
2 tough-running super stocks have beaten this tough track here at Hamburg. 2 out the gate, but a whole lot of talent waiting in the staging lanes. We'll be back with more from the 13th Annual Genesee Bull Pull right after this. Stay tuned to ESPN for Challenge of Power.
Hold tight. There's a higher speed limit on this road. And a lot more twists and turns than you may be used to. Stockings, Matrix, MacGyver, Quantum Leap, USA Network Action.
And indeed it's not, because it filters its narration.
Is this all you know about Cable 10? Then take a closer look. Cable 10 is local public affairs, outstanding citizens, area talent and upcoming entertainment events, local medical and business news, historical and special interest documentaries, coverage of unique and newsworthy events, area sports, and much, much more. The sum of all its parts. Cable 10, your community source.
Up on the aerosol with no ozone, there is no end zone.
You thought you'd seen it all? Keep your eyes wide open. The American Sports Awards is back.
And the ESPY goes to...
That's where you come in. See the year's most memorable and outrageous plays on ESPN Sports Center. Then punch in with your vote on who gets an ESPY.
I got mine.
Check into the next Sports Center and check out the ESPY.
Welcome back to America's County Fair, the Erie County Fair, the 154th edition. A unique pulling team being represented right now by the tractor they call the Weapon out of Minnow, South Dakota. That's where it's based. The driver, Mark Ulmer. Good-looking Case IH. They're a top 10 points runner right now. First time out on the Grand National Circuit for this year. And let's see what these boys can do. Both of the alcohol-powered tractors are by the 300-foot mark. This has got the potential of making all kinds of horsepower and putting the tractor past 300 feet. We'll have to see what happens right here. Mark Ulmer out of Minnow, South Dakota. They call the tractor the Weapon. Green flag is out. Start to build that characteristic diesel smoke. Here comes the Weapon. Mark Ulmer behind the wheel. .298 feet and 8 inches for Mark Ulmer, just a little bit shy of that magical 300-foot mark. Tom Morrisy is up next, the groundhog of Jeffersontown, Kentucky. That's right outside of Louisville. Tom Morrisy with a whole bunch of years of pulling experience behind the wheel of this IH 1066, running on diesel, 4 turbochargers. He finished 9th last year, but coming into the Erie County Fair and this tremendous collection of talent, he's running 2nd in points. The groundhog, definitely with a couple of good runs here, could take over in our points parade. This time around for Tom Morrisy in a quad turbo. He's got floor underneath the side shields, going to come up short. 292 feet and 5 inches. Rob Russell, the workhorse out of Lenox, Iowa, leads the Grand National Points race. Aboard his IH 7140, runs on diesel, 2 turbochargers underneath the hood. He was 4th place a year ago, and he is formerly the 1989 Grand National Points champion. Rob has done nothing but good things this entire year. Early in the season, he and Tom Morrisy, the groundhog, were tied for points, but Rob definitely has figured out what it needs to take to get by 300 feet and pull off some victories. He's been to the winner's circle a number of times this year, and the workhorse has definitely earned its reputation as one of the diesel tractors to beat. Right now, he's earned the reputation as just being the only tractor to beat. Comes up a little bit short, but look at the concentration on Rob Russell as he continued to come down the pulling strip lightly on the brake, and I gotta tell you, he really wanted to go past 300 feet.
Well, I tell you what, Doc, it's a real hot, sunshiny day here, and the moisture's going away. It's getting worse and worse and worse. The track's getting rougher. Late number isn't the thing to have. We had to do what we could do with it.
Still going to protect that points lead, I would think.
Yeah, I think we'll hang tough here. We'll try for tonight. Nighttime shows a little better for us. The sun goes down. Track stays a little more fair. We'll give it what we got.
John Deere is up next, and this great American tradition is still in truck and tractor pulling. This is a John Deere 4555, 466 cubic inches. Warren Ropp behind. a wheel out of Kelowna, Iowa. Warren's been at this game for a number of years, 11 years to be exact. Formerly a national champion back in the late 80s, and he's going to try to take the diesel Iron Elk past 300 feet. We've got a pull-off. That means the two competitors have gone by the 300-foot distance. What happens when our class is over? We'll reweight the sled, bring them back, and see who's going to take home the big check and the #1 points for this event on the Copenhagen School Pulling Circuit. Tires hard with that front end coming up and down and up and down. When that happens, sometimes you'll lose a little bit of distance. A tough break for the Iron Elk John Deere 45-55. Currently fourth in points, Russ Mears out of Cynthiana, Ohio, aboard a Case IH 7130. 15 years of pulling experience, 6th place last year in the points. And Russ Mears would like to get into the pull-off here and increase his points position. He's had a pretty fair year, always finishing near the front. He'd like to pick up a couple of more points on Rob Russell and Tom Morrisy and Terry Blackburn, who have already pulled. The only way he's going to get any points on Terry Blackburn is to go by 300 feet and get into the pull-off. Right now, only 2 in the pull-off. Mears going to fall a little bit short. He didn't ever get the right bite on the track. Started to bounce a little bit. A lot of times you'll see that in four-wheel drive pulling. Very rarely will you see it in super stock pulling. Russ Mears ends up short of 300 feet. Coleman Wheatley out of Shelbyville, Indiana. Used to be a John Deere pilot. Now goes to Case IH with a 7140 Magnum. He calls it the Indiana Rascal. Coleman Wheatley has been able to get his way up near the top in the points, 6th and 7th right now. He's always a top 10 finisher. Let's see what he does as he spots the old Ironside sled a little bit closer to the left sideline this time around. Coleman Wheatley going to build the boost right there. The white smoke will go gray and then black. And when that happens, the RPMs are up, and that Crowler clutch is going to have to be slipped, and down the track he will come. Wheatley with a gun and a steam right there, and almost so close to 300 feet, but he's not going to make it this time around. Last one to come to the line, John Deere, flying the colors very proudly out of Milton, Indiana. It's Neil Gettinger. Neil aboard the Up and Atom tractor. Neil's been a top 10 performer for the past number of years. Took last year off and stayed pretty close to Milton, Indiana. Didn't ever come out on the Grand National Circuit except for a couple of times. And the usual logic is that in the afternoon, it's tough to get the diesels to fire and make the horsepower to get by 300 feet. 2 in a pull-off. It's Ernie Connors and Terry Blackburn. Both of those guys running alcohol. And alcohol burns cooler than the diesel fuel will. The green flag is out for Neil Gettinger of the Up and Atom tractor. The last competitor to see if he can go by 300 feet. Crowds the sideline just a little bit. Pretty quick, you're going to see all kinds of horsepower coming down. Let's see what the man from Milton, Indiana can do here at the Hamburg Fair. And Up and Atom, 269 feet and 9 inches. Coming up, a pull-off between the two alcohol-powered tractors, Ernie Connors and Terry Blackburn. That's coming up next, right here on Challenge of Power.
This is the NFL season you saw.
What a catch! Leon Lynch! Oh, my goodness gracious!
But now, Sports Illustrated lets you in on even more.
I didn't like the pullback right away just because that corner was coming up.
In this exciting new video, NFL Extreme. It's the season you never saw. Free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated.
Wake yourselves up!
Call now to see and hear what you shouldn't.
Keep it a secret. Did you hear me? If you still got a big hog, get it so you can run.
You'll go from one extreme
I want on the rules committee.
to the other. Free.
Wide open! Touchdown!
You'll also receive SI's spectacular new book, The Year in Pictures, free with your paid subscription. Get 54 issues of Sports Illustrated for only $1.39 an issue. Save over 52% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card.
Where did they get all of me?
Call now and get NFL Extreme, The Season You Never Saw, and The Year in Pictures free from Sports Illustrated. There is nothing in the world like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Slam dunk, double, dribble. Who's the team? You can do it.
Michigan and Purdue tip-off on Super Tuesday. Tonight at 7:30 Eastern, live on ESPN.
An islander is surrounded by water. A ranger is surrounded by trees. And the Battle of New York will be surrounded by police. The New York Rangers versus the New York Islanders. Tomorrow at 7:30. NHL on ESPN2.
Coming up, a pull-off between the two alcohol-powered tractors, Ernie Connors and Terry Blackburn. Welcome back to the 13th annual Genesee Bull Pull at America's County Fair, the Erie County Fair in Hamburg, New York. Former national champion Ernie Connors right now has got an opportunity to do something he's not done very many times this year, and that is win an event. He did pick up a victory a couple of weeks ago, but he'd like to have another one here. Testing and tuning and research and development is what this year has all been about. They call it the Circle the Wagons Tour, and I don't know all the significance about that other than the fact that they have taken the Grand National title for the past 2 years, and this year they probably won't even finish in the top 5, but they're always trying to squeeze more and more horsepower outside of this big White 2 180 tractor. It's actually powered by a 32-weight Caterpillar motor running on alcohol. First competitor out, the first of 2 here in our pull-off to determine the winner, the champion, at the Genesee Bull Pull. Terry Blackburn's going to have to go by here in the pull-off at Hamburg. Ernie, 279 and 7, pretty good pass right there. Looks like it's back to form. Yeah. If you had an opportunity to do something different, what would you do?
I think I might keep it over towards the middle of the track a little closer, not let it drift over to the right. I didn't know he was going to hit quite that hard. He sure tightened her up a bunch for that run. But we'll see what Terry does here. He might be able to get me. His tractor running off stout anymore, so he may be able to get me, but he'll have to lay down a pretty good run to get around that one, I think.
Terry Blackburn up right now. We'll keep Ernie Connors right here and take a look at this pass right here by the slow ride out of Shullsburg, Wisconsin. Definitely one of the tough running tractors. Again, both you guys, the alcohol. Why the alcohol doing so much better this afternoon than the diesel?
Oh, I don't know. It may be early hook. It may be a little more horsepower and be able to keep our momentum up. There's several factors involved with putting one of these things down the track. Many things you don't see.
Pullister brings it off the line, gets the tires up, and he's chasing the sideline very, very hard, gets on the brake and able to bring her straight down. ...282 feet and 5 inches. Ernie going to take a back seat to a pretty tough tractor. Let's make our way over now and talk with the winner here at Hamburg, Terry Blackburn. Well, the slow ride definitely put down the winning run here at the Erie County Fair as the Case 7140 does a pretty good job for this man right here, receiving a little congratulations. Congratulations to you, Terry. Nice run.
Yeah, thanks, Doc. We've been going to the right all day, and I've been braking and correcting it, but the slow ride's really hooking the track good today.
Looked like you really had to wrestle it in the pull-off.
Yeah, I was getting a little worried there. It'd come over, and I was braking pretty hard, but after that, then it got back on top of the track and got going pretty good.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Doc.
Terry Blackburn picks up the win here at the 13th annual Genesee Bull Pull. We'll be back to wrap things up and take a look at the points right after this.
SR skid-resistant bed liner, a surface that helps keep cargo from sliding around. Available at your local Penda dealer.
A Hershey bar will improve your image in a flash.
All right, Marty, just kind of skate up toward the camera, babe. Beautiful, babe. Let's go!
All right, I think we got it. And the Erie County Fair. Terry and Colleen are here. Congratulations once again. It's got to feel good. Definitely got to make the whole family feel good.
Oh, yeah, this is great. It's a great weekend.